Back in 1953, Castro and his brother Raul, they led this revolutionary movement against General Fulgencio Batista, who himself had seized power in Cuba in a military coup the year before. Now, he was briefly imprisoned in Cuba, then went to Mexico, where he founded a revolutionary group with Che Guevara. Remember him? Before returning to Cuba to overthrow the government. He was finally sworn in as the president of Cuba back in 1959. Well, led by President John F. Kennedy, the US tried and failed to overthrow Cuba at the Bay of Pigs 1961. Then later on, we also know that there were a number of other attempts to overthrow Fidel Castro. Now, relations with the US hit rock bottom over Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. It was a 13-day confrontation between the US and the Soviet Union about missile deployments in Cuba, Italy and Turkey. It's the closest the Cold War ever came to escalating into a full-scale nuclear war. Now, after that, America tried to isolate Cuba with a trade embargo that would end up lasting 5 decades. But despite all of that, Castro outlasted 9 US presidents, from Dwight Eisenhower all the way to George W. Bush. Now, relations between Cuba and the US began to thaw in 2014. A year later, the two countries reached a deal to reopen embassies in their respective capitals and re-establish diplomatic relations. In March this year, President Obama became the first American president in nearly a century to visit Cuba. He's the world's third longest-serving head of state after the Queen and the King of Thailand. Castro proudly claimed he had survived 634 assassination attempts, mainly masterminded by the CIA and US-based exile organizations. They may have included poison pills, a toxic cigar, explosive mollets, and a chemically tainted diving suit. Castro stepped down in 2006 after suffering from a series of health problems. He delegated his presidential duties to his brother Raul. He has been in poor health since then and was last seen in public in January 2014, although a few photos of him meeting with foreign dignitaries did appear after that.